What's up, people? Welcome to the channel, and check out this guide on how to start playing Pharah. I know a lot of you are very excited to start playing Overwatch, and so I'm going to share a bit of my experience with you guys concerning this character that came very naturally to me. So stay tuned and check it out. Be sure to leave comments down below if you have any questions whatsoever or suggestions, and make sure to subscribe and like the video if you did. Thank you! Now, although this may sound like a sin to many of you, many people out there on the internet right now flip their shit whenever someone compares Overwatch in any way whatsoever to Team Fortress 2. Well, the thing is that in some aspects, it does make sense to compare the two, for it took me so little time to adapt to Pharah, I think mainly thanks to the fact that I am so used to playing Soldier on Team Fortress 2. For one thing, they shoot rockets. The Soldier only has 4 rockets, Pharah has 6, but the speed of the rockets seems to be very similar, at least that was my feeling. Also, their playstyles are very similar. As Soldier in Team Fortress 2, you'll try to get the height advantage over your enemy. With Pharah, it's all about that, and everything is tailored to helping you get that height advantage. Press shift and you'll be launched straight into the air. If you hold down the space bar, you'll be able to hover around for a little while, actually for a considerable amount of time, definitely enough to unload your 6 rockets down on the enemies below. One thing that I really love about this ability is that the cooldown is only 10 seconds. Every 10 seconds you can launch yourself straight into the air, and that is really not a long time at all when you're raining fire down below and when you're hovering around by pressing spacebar. Pharah has another tool called the Concussive Blast. It has a very strong knockback force. It can be used either to blast people off a point, off a cliff, or even project yourself forward as a kind of mock rocket jump tool. Its cooldown is of 12 seconds and can be used in many situations. Personally, I haven't that much experience with it. It's a very situational tool, and you kind of have to get a feel for the perfect moment to use it. Now we need to consider one big difference between the Soldier in Team Fortress 2 and Pharah. If you're used to playing the Soldier in Team Fortress 2, you know that the rockets have damage fall off. Well, that's not the case for Pharah. At any distance, you can direct hit and do a full 120 damage to your enemy, 115 against armor. Now, this is a huge advantage to me, and it was surprisingly easy to kill people at a distance with Pharah. Let's be honest here, not everybody can land a direct hit on a moving target at a distance using rockets, and I'm no exception whatsoever. You gotta get used to the speed of these rockets. But even if you're not, well, you're in luck because they have splash damage and a certain amount of knockback force. This means that you don't have to direct hit your enemies like with hit scan weapons. Of course, splash damage isn't gonna be as powerful as a direct hit, and you wanna try and land those direct hits as much as possible. Splash damage is still useful for hurting enemies around your main target. You'll be doing up to 80 damage using that splash damage to a target that's close by. It can go very, very low though, so don't be surprised if it takes a while to take out an enemy using only splash damage. And this, on the contrary to direct hits, well, it has distance knockoff damage. That means the further you are away from your target using splash damage, the less damage it's gonna do. So try to get those direct hits or get a bit closer to your enemy. And of course, her rocket barrage, shooting over 40 rockets and over 2,500 damage. It's capable of taking out a Reinhardt with a shield deployed and everybody standing behind it. It's forced to be reckoned with, yet it has its downfalls. It's probably the most noticeable ultimate out there. Also, Pharah is completely immobilized while deploying all these rockets and makes a very easy target for anybody standing behind her, a sniper, or other Pharahs. It's very easy to get damage done with Pharah. As a matter of fact, simply spamming in the direction of where the enemy is coming from almost guarantees you some damage done. Now, I'm not a big fan of spammers, and I really like being a little more precise with my rockets or trying to place them tactically, yet there's no denying that sometimes to be a team player you kind of have to do what you gotta do, and giving support fire, cover fire with Pharah is extremely effective. It will stop people from peeking around corners, it will deny them access to the point. It's a very useful tactic, and it is to be used with parsimony. Now, Pharah is considered as an attack class, yet I'd like to defend her position as a very polyvalent class. You see, she's pretty much good in any situations, and our only real enemy, in my opinion, would be snipers, because when she's floating around, her mobility is greatly reduced, and she makes a very easy target for any weathered sniper out there. And that is something that I had to look out for quite a bit. The only frustrating moments that I've actually had with Pharah would be against enemy snipers. Now Pharah is not a tanky class by any means. She only has 200 health, no armor, no shield whatsoever, making her extremely vulnerable when she's isolated on the ground or floating around in the air by any hit scan weapons. A Soldier 76, an enemy sniper, a Reinhardt can hook her and kill her in one shot, and a Reaper can usually get her down in just 1 or 2 shots when she's on the ground. She has many enemies to look out for, and that's why you need to stick to the sky. But you gotta look out for those enemy snipers. Now Pharah is extremely effective at taking out sentries, whether it be Bastion or Torbjorn. She can take out sentries extremely effectively at any distance, and that makes her invaluable to any team. If you know there's a sentry behind a corner, no reason to confront it directly. Remember, Pharah has splash damage. You can rely on that to take out sentries effectively without endangering yourself and the rest of your team. To sum it all up, Pharah is an amazing class that can dish out loads of damage, that can turn the tides of any battle. She's invaluable to any team, an extremely polyvalent class that's good in a huge array of situations. Remember that she's very vulnerable on the ground though, and that her domain is the sky. Keep her flying around and she will be a lot safer, but make sure to watch out for those enemy snipers. When you're playing as Pharah, try to be a team player. Your teammates are counting on you to take out enemy sentries. Whether it be Torbjorn or Bastion, you're the one that does it best. So always keep an eye out for those guys. Otherwise, when not engaged in combat, always look out for your team. Overwatch is a team game, and if everybody plays individually, you will not win the match. Never. In Overwatch, the best team always wins. Alright guys, that just about wraps up this video. I hope it was useful for you. I know this is maybe kind of a beginner's guide to Pharah, and maybe later on, once I get better at the game, I can make more advanced guides for all the rest of the characters too. Thanks a lot for watching, and make sure to subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and leave a comment down below. Until next time, Speaker is signing off.